Have you ever heard of a funding model where you get 100% project finance and they don't charge interest?
Sounds too good to be true. No interest at all?
Nope. The family office offering this capital assurance program is waiving interest because of the current high-rate environment. They usually go with SONIA plus 2.5%, but now it's equity-only participation.
So they're taking equity instead of charging interest?
Exactly. But here's the kicker, they only want a minority stake. The rest is structured as non-voting or redeemable shares.
That's wild. So no pressure on repayments either?
None. No fixed repayment terms. Returns come out of free cash flows. It's all designed to keep the project's capital cost low.
That really changes the game. But I guess they do this during due diligence, right?
Right. The negotiation phase is where they sort out share percentages and terms. It's flexible by design.
So basically, you keep control, avoid debt, and don't lose sleep over interest piling up?
That's the idea. They even call it an innovative approach. No traditional capital stack, no senior debt.
Wait, so no banks involved at all?
No banks, no collateral. Instead, they use capital guarantees to make sure the project gets built and runs.
It's starting to sound like the Netflix of project finance.
Huh. Not a bad comparison. But they do expect a return, usually dividends for the life of the asset.
That's fair. If they're taking equity risk, they should get some reward.
Exactly. And equity in this case doesn't always mean control. It's more about access to future cash flows.
Let's talk about equity for a sec. It's not just ownership, right?
Right. In project finance, equity can include subordinated debt, grants, even in-kind contributions. It's anything that's not senior debt.
So even sweat equity?
Actually, no. Sweat equity doesn't count under accounting rules. But quasi-equity like convertible debt, that's in.
Got it. And how does this tie into alternative investments?
Well, the whole setup is an example of alternative investing. It falls outside stocks, bonds, and cash.
So like real estate, crypto, art?
Exactly. Private equity, hedge funds, commodities, even farmland. All under that big umbrella.
I guess what makes them alternative is the illiquidity and lack of regulation.
That's part of it. Also, high barriers to entry and complex structures. You need deep pockets and patience.
And some of them are downright quirky, like investing in baseball cards or antique watches.
True. But quirky doesn't mean unwise. These can be stores of value. Just harder to price or sell quickly.
And I bet the tax situation is a maze.
Definitely. Different rules apply depending on the asset. Crypto gains, taxable. Collectibles, up to 28% capital gains tax.
Ouch. But some real estate deals have deferral options, like 1031 exchanges, right?
Yep. Or opportunity zones for tax breaks. That's why tax advisors are a must for this space.
So back to the family office model. Why don't more investors do this?
Honestly, it requires a lot of trust, capital, and patience. And most want faster exits.
Makes sense. But for the right project, this sounds ideal.
It is, especially if you want to build without burning equity or getting crushed by interest.
Think more family offices will move this way?
If rates stay high and demand for flexibility grows? Absolutely. It's a smart evolution in finance.
Maybe this is the future. Equity first, debt second?
Could be. Or at least a strong alternative path for builders who want more than just capital. They want partnership.